Hello, it's Ashton.
And it is John. What up, guys? We're back with another reaction video. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to...
Inside a camera at 10,000 FPS. What does that stand for? Frames per second?
Yep.
The slow-mo guys, by the channel The Slow-mo Guys.
Yes, go and subscribe. Incredibly important to support the channels that you love. This was a suggestion from Eric. Hey, just wanted to share a few more videos that I hope you'll enjoy. I'm sure I will. I love any kind of technological, like camera stuff especially. You guys can also help support the channel just like Eric did. Click on that link down below in the descriptive. You throw around through Streamlabs. Can let you pick on the next videos that we react. Just keep it under 10 minutes. Include video, link, title, your email, and let's get to that video.
I like this channel. Go subscribe to
Hello
them if you
there.
like this.
Now you may be wondering, what is so fast about a camera? Well, I'll show you. When you take
Let's
a
see
picture
it.
with a regular viewfinder camera, you're not actually looking down the same
Is
lens
that a
as
7D?
taking the picture. You're looking down a separate viewfinder lens.
I think
and
it's
in some
so.
situations, that gives you a slight difference
sure,
in
though.
perspective because it's only an approximation of what your picture is going to be. Now, a way around that is by using an SLR camera, which stands for single lens reflex. That's pretty much exactly what it is. There's only one lens. There's no separate viewfinder lens. Now that requires a little bit of cleverness behind the lens. There's actually a mirror placed at 45 degrees that blocks the sensor, which means you can look through the viewfinder, down and through the exact lens that's going to take the picture. So
I
that
see.
leads us on to the very fast part. When you take a picture, you'll hear this sound. Didn't sound like much, but actually quite a lot just happened there. And you'll notice that in the viewfinder, your vision was blocked for a very split second. So the only way we're going to see what actually happens is by taking off the lens, zooming the phantom in, and filming this at a ridiculously high frame rate. We'll start with a 30th of a second. Now you're looking at the mirror, which is in front of the shutter. When I press down the button, the mirror flips up out of the way and temporarily blocks the viewfinder.
Oh, wow.
Then the shutter comes down, whoosh, now light is exposing on the sensor. And
Oh,
then
wow.
The shutter closes again, followed by the mirror coming back down, so you can
That's
see
so
through the
cool.
viewfinder again. As you can see from that clip, this camera has a mechanical shutter that moves out of the way and allows light to hit the sensor. A very fundamental part of photography is the duration of your exposure has very different effects on the image, and you can control that with the shutter speed. For example, a relatively long exposure of say 2 seconds would give you a bright image, but anything that moved within those 2 seconds would have a trail of motion blur behind it. So not ideal for filming a fast moving subject. For a very fast moving subject, you would want a much shorter shutter duration.
That makes sense.
The fastest this camera will do it is an 8,000th of a second, which looks like this. So now what we'll do is we'll use the Phantom to film different shutter speeds of the camera.
That's
see
so
how they
cool.
compare to each other in slow motion. Honestly, these are probably going to look identical in real time, but we'll definitely be able to see the difference in slow mo.
All right, let's do
We'll
it.
start with a 500th of a second. One thousandth of a second.
Damn.
2,000th of a second.
It's like
4,000th of a
the
second.
lowest. How does that gap? What is that spacing? That's crazy.
8,000th of a second.
It's like a hair. It's literally a hair. Oh my
Let's have a
god.
look at the 4 fastest ones side by side just to see the comparison.
That's really cool he did this.
It's super cool,
It
yeah.
puts it into perspective. Wait,
There's something off there because the 2,000ths of a second and 1,000ths of a second.
yeah.
Oh no, there we go. Okay. The spacing's different. That's the biggest part.
Yeah.
The speed's relatively the same as far as how fast they move, but they only allow such a slit in them.
Can
This
you
kind of stuff is
imagine
fascinating
inventing
to me.
that?
It
like,
makes me wonder how many people take for
my
granted
brain would
what's happening inside
I
the
know,
camera
it's
when
crazy.
you take a picture. The fact that the shutter is made of 2 clusters of metal blades that at their shortest duration are moving right next to each other, allowing just the smallest slit of light to hit the sensor. This is also
crazy.
a great visual representation of why you need so much light for a high shutter speed shot. Because the amount of time the light is hitting the sensor is so short,
Brief.
you end up with a much darker image. There are many types of shutter that a camera can have. This is a mechanical shutter, but there's also an electronic shutter which doesn't have any moving parts. In video mode, this will actually use an electronic shutter. It basically takes an image 30 times every second without covering the sensor. This camera's shutter is also
That's
a
crazy.
rolling shutter, which is the opposite of a global shutter. And what that means is that it doesn't actually take the whole image at the same time. You may have noticed from the slow-mo that the image is taken from the top to the bottom of the sensor. That basically means that whenever you take a picture, the top of the picture is actually older than the bottom.
That's
by a fraction of
crazy.
a second. And technically that statement should be flipped, as everything traveling through a lens is actually upside down by the time it gets to the sensor. The electronic shutter on this camera, when it's in video mode, works in the exact same way. It takes each line of pixels from top to bottom because it doesn't have the power to take the whole image at once. And this can lead to some interesting artifacts when filming certain subjects. You may remember this video from a few years ago. I was blasting Dan in the face with a cork, and when I was editing the video, I noticed something really weird in the Canon footage. On this one frame of video, the cork is suspended in the air, but the shadow of the cork has already hit him in the face. Luckily, we had the
Sorry,
Phantom
that
right
Microsoft,
by
that
the
is
side,
crazy.
so we can analyze exactly what happened with the Canon there. So imagine the color going down the screen as the Canon acquiring each frame of its video. Nothing happening in this frame. Watch this one though. As it gets down to the cork firing, it then hits the shadow, and that explains why there are two different moments in time at different heights in the same frame. Almost any camera you use these days to shoot video will have a rolling shutter, and that's due to the frequency of CMOS sensors being used in DSLRs and pretty much every smartphone. And you can test this out by pointing your camera outside the window of a moving car and just filming trees and poles that go by. You'll notice that everything that's vertical will be slightly skewed diagonally because the object is moving as it's being scanned from top to bottom or bottom to top. There's definitely pros and cons to both the global and the rolling shutter. For example, the Phantom Flex has a global shutter, which makes it much better for the scientific analysis of shots, as every moment in the frame was taken at the exact same time. The Phantom Flex 4K has a rolling shutter, but is typically used on movies and TV, where it seems to be quite natural for the human eye to look at. Before I end this video, I feel like I should say a few words about the state of this camera. It's a Canon 7D. I bought it right before I started the Slow Mo Guys, and I've used it in every single episode to film the real-time segments. And it's taken an absolute pounding. It's been in the splash
That's
zone
awesome,
a few
though.
times.
Oh man.
Oh, it's right on the lens.
There's a splodge.
It's fallen over. There's a screw loose, I've just noticed. But I refuse to replace it because it still works. So I hope you enjoyed that video.
Good for you, man.
Maybe you learned something. Be sure
Good
to follow me on
camera.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Tweet stuff.
Great camera.
Buy a
Why
shirt,
buy a new one if that one still
subscribe.
works? Just a
Thanks for
waste.
watching.
That
Make
was
sure you guys go subscribe to his channel, like he said, the Slow Mo Guys. He definitely deserves it. He's got 12 million. Oh, wait.
12 mil.
The 7D was out in 2015?
Yeah. That's the 7D. It's an icon.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking of the
Okay.
T7.
Yeah,
no.
I'm thinking of the T7.
I think that was like a 16 or 17
I
model.
was like,
17
wait,
model.
it doesn't make sense at all. Because we got this, what one was ours? T6?
The T7 was still out at that time too, at
But
2015.
it just came out.
Yeah, it
I
was new.
think, yeah.
But I learned something so interesting there. So
Yeah.
the actual image, even if you're viewing this right now, because I'm sure our camera's using it, it's going from top to bottom constantly. So the image up here is just slightly older than the image down here. Or actually, based off of that image though, this part is slightly older than this.
Isn't
The
that
bottom part is
strange?
older than the top because the shadow was extended more, which means that this video was from past versus, well, no, it would be correct. The top's older, the bottom's younger.
You're killing my brain.
I know, I completely confused myself there based off of what was going on, but that is so cool.
It is. I didn't know that. I always
didn't know that
wondered
either.
how they worked. Now I know.
Same, and it's very interesting. The whole like sideways thing totally explains it. I learned a lot from this video. Hope you guys did too. Comment down below if you liked it.
I still don't understand how somebody could just invent the camera. Like,
I know, right?
how do you just... Okay, you're sitting there one
Just
day
get that
and you're
idea.
just like, I should make something that... And you can't even use the word photo because photo wouldn't be a thing at that time. So it's like, it's all... You know what I mean? Like, there's really no way of, like, describing it. You're just like, I wonder if I could somehow get this, like, scenery on some kind of, like, a... Could you even call
How can
it...
I save what I'm looking at right now? How can I
Yeah,
keep
like,
this to show
there's
someone else?
a hard... It's so hard trying to, like, describe it because you can't use, like, image or picture or... Because they're not... That wasn't a thing, you know,
Well,
until
you could
the-
still have an image and a picture, yeah, because you paint and you draw. There's art, so it'd still be a image or a
portrait
picture.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's just strange how somebody just came up with the idea to make a camera and they made it work. Like, I would have never even thought of how that could have functioned.
I know.
At all.
It's bizarre.
I mean, I barely function. So. Hey, I might as well own up to it instead of getting all the hate, right?
Guys, go like, comment, share, and subscribe for the channel that is the Slow Mo Guys. Very important. Support the channels you love, and peace out.